What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we're going to be doing another trade recap / trade breakdown for you today, and let's get right into it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so I can continue to teach you guys and help you become profitable. All right, so coming into the day, I was definitely bullish because we broke this high right here. We had a huge push to the upside. Labeling this a 1 hour breaker structure. We had a ton of imbalance inside here. The only red flag is, no, we didn't have a ton of imbalance. We had just a ton of momentum inside of here. We had a small amount of imbalance on the 1 hour time frame, which is right here in this spot. And then we had a ton of liquidity to the downside. So the liquidity to the downside was the only red flag on the play today, and why I potentially wanted to take sales down below, but I ended up looking for buys. You can see all of the liquidity that's been stacking up, and if I was thinking about what I marked up on the weekly beforehand, then I would have been more apt to sell. Now you can see here we took all this liquidity out on the weekly time frame on the top side of the market, and we have imbalance sitting inside this weekly area right here. So weekly imbalance, and if we just look in history, you can see that the price likes to tap into these weekly imbalances. There's a weekly imbalance right here. Price taps into it, and then we get a shoot to the upside. Price plummets through this, holds this low, and shoots to the upside. So I'm expecting essentially the same thing. Price is going to come down deep into this zone, and then maybe hold this low and then continue to the upside. And then let's take one more look. Huge imbalance right here that was never, well, it looks like we tapped into it right here and then had a push to the upside. And let's look for one more. Let's see. We'll probably have a bearish one. Bearish example is right here. Huge push down, tap into this imbalance, and then a huge push down again. So if I was paying more attention to the weekly time frame, I might have been had more of a sell bias. So let's go back to the 1 hour time frame and just kind of look how we started during the day. So the 8:30 New York Open is inside of here, right here. So this is the 8:30 opening candle right here. I'm just gonna mark that out for a second, and then I'm gonna go back to the 1 hour and I'm gonna show you what I saw. So I saw we had a push from this high right here down to this low, and we created imbalance inside of this zone. 1 hour imbalance. And so with us pulling back into this 1 hour range and having all of the liquidity to the downside over here, did I think we were going to reach all the way down there? Not necessarily. I thought we were going to get a bigger rejection out of this 1 hour imbalance, but we did not. So looking at this 1 hour imbalance, I expected some type of rejection out of here, and I actually sold at the beginning of the market open and attacked basically this imbalance. And after that, I was looking for buys, and you can see we didn't really get buys for the rest of the day until down in this area, which I caught that, but I lost within here. So coming to the let's go to the 15-minute time frame. You can see we're holding 15-minute structure as bearish. So we get a push up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and then we break the low right here, and then we go back bullish right here. But now, as soon as we break this low, I should have known to just go bearish with the 15-minute. So this is a 15-minute break of structure back down for me, but I just had such a strong bias that we were going to go bullish again, I didn't want to take a lot of shorts and hold past this level. So that's a 15-minute breaker structure right here. We end up pushing completely and closing through this, creating a breaker block right here, labeling this a breaker block. And then on the lower time frame, that was an easy execution on the 15-minute time frame. Let me see. Okay, so now we can go down to like the 3-minute and maybe even the 1-minute and look for a signal to sell. So right in here, you can see we have our 1-minute high, which is, let me get this tool. Give me a second. I'm gonna mark our 1-minute structure. So we got this high right here, then we break below here, and now we're creating lower highs and lower lows. Right here, boom. So this is now my 1-minute range from this high to this low. And you can see we ended up kind of consolidating in here in this range. And as soon as we break below here, that would be a signal for me to go short on the lower time frame, stop loss above that 1 minute, and take profit. As you can see, we just kept going down for the rest of the day, essentially. And that was the lowest that price hit, which would have been a 12.5 R. Of course, I'm not holding it that long. At least most of the time I'm not. But you can see once we ran through this imbalance, then it's valid to actually hold this trade up until this low or even this low, because there's no imbalances pushing us in the opposite direction, leading me to believe that we're going to head even lower into this weekly imbalance that I had marked out. And you can see we're very close to it. And yeah, we're probably going to hit it. And then we might bounce off, looks like this unmitigated zone right here of demand, and then sweep all of this liquidity inside of here, and then have a pushback to the upside. Now we may go even lower, but this is just my take at the moment. And we can also see the strong push down that we can mitigate, and the banks can get out of their sell orders to then continue their buys to the upside. Boom. So that's what I'm seeing happening next week. Today is Friday, of course. And I'll go over the trade I took near the end of the day. So removing that, I was on the 1 minute time frame literally when I took this. And I was just like, wow, we kept going. So I was still looking for sales. We had, give me a second. We had a 5 minute, I was looking at the 5 minute structure. And I wanted to see lower prices because I expected us just to continue lower. But I could see we were kind of slowing down in trend. So this was that 5 minute high. And we ended up pushing all the way up here as well. But I caught the trade, the buy somewhere in this area right here. So let me just go to bar replay so I don't have to search for the chart when I go to the 1 minute time frame. So boom, this is, I'll mark out my 2 5-minute highs right here and right here. So seeing that price was getting weaker on the way down, I was wondering if we could catch some type of reversal. So I was looking at the 1 minute structure, and I saw it kind of traveling like this. We had an imbalance up, then we pushed back down, then we had a pushback up, then we had a pushback down. And then right here, we had this imbalance push up, and I was like, wow, that looks really strong, really clean. We just swept liquidity over here, and then we had this push back up as well. And I think I caught the buy right in here with my stop loss like right around here. And then I just had a take profit. Really, I had it like way up here, like my final TP, but I ended up taking out some like earlier than that. And you can see we ended up getting a good push to the upside after that, and we broke a few 5-minute structural highs. And then once we broke back below this 5-minute right here, I was already completely out of the trade. And I could have ended up taking another sell here, but I had already made what I wanted to, and the sell would have probably came somewhere in here. And I think we ended up just going lower before that, which is completely fine. I wasn't looking at anything anyways. But that is essentially the trade recap for today. The reason I also lost is just because I got into the market just too quickly. It was in this area right here. I ended up anticipating that we were going to sweep liquidity. But you can see we have an imbalance still sitting right in front of us, right here. And we don't even create any imbalance coming out of this zone, which I knew was a red flag, and then we just dropped lower. But like I said, I was on the 1 hour time frame wanting to see some type of bounce inside of this entire area, which we, like I said, did not get anything. This was the only little bounce, and yeah, ended up faking me out and cooking me. Just an update on all the accounts. I am now minus 750, 740 on this account on the Express. 50.6 on this account. 51.6 on this one. 2.2 or 52.2 on this one. And then 50.8 essentially on this one. So still doing okay. I'm trying to like hold off and chill for the rest of the year without like cooking all of my accounts and things like that, because you definitely can cook it in no time. And the market's been a little tough in December, so it's really not the best time to trade, because if we go to the overall higher time frame, we're in a very kind of like rangy market. You can see this is not like really a trending type of market. So yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out the link in my description below where you can join me and learn my strategies directly. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.